The WNBA just detonated a scandal so massive it's threatening to sink the entire league. Connecticut Sun players Jacy, Sheldon, and Marina Mabrey have been permanently banned after a vicious, calculated attack on Indiana Fever's superstar Caitlinclark. But here's where it gets even crazier. Whispers are swirling that WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert paid these players to target Clark, all to push her progressive agenda and keep the league's lesbian communist vibe intact. This isn't just a foul, it's a conspiracy that's exposing the WNBA as a banana league, and you won't believe what happens next. Under Engelbert's leadership, the WNBA is crumbling, propped up by NBA subsidies and plagued by inconsistent refereeing that makes it a laughingstock. Caitlinclark is single-handedly carrying the league's ratings, but the Caitlinclark effect is at risk of fizzling out as new fans realize the WNBA is a mess of political posturing and cheap shots. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Sophie Cunningham, Clark's fierce enforcer, stepped up to deliver justice, and the league isn't ready for her. Stick around because this next part is huge. It all exploded on June 17, 2025, during a fiery Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Tensions were already high, but in the third quarter, things went completely off the rails. Caitlinclark, the WNBA's golden goose, was dribbling when Sun guard Jacy Sheldon swiped at the ball, jabbing Clark in the eye with a reckless poke. Clark, in pain, shoved Sheldon back in frustration. That's when Marina Mabrey, like a heat-seeking missile, charged in and slammed Clark to the floor with a blindsided shove that left fans stunned and players scrambling. And here's the part that nobody saw coming. The refs, led by crew chief Ashley Gloss, reviewed the play and somehow decided Mabrey's assault only deserved a technical foul. No ejection, no flagrant 2, just a wrist slap for what fans called a deliberate hit on the league's biggest star. Clark and Sun center Tina Charles also got technicals, which had social media erupting. Fans on X were livid, with one user raging, "Giving Caitlinclark a technical for getting hit in the face and shoved is insane." But wait, this next part is what really matters. The refs' failure to act set the stage for Sophie Cunningham to become the enforcer the WNBA didn't expect, and it exposed a deeper, darker truth about Cathy Engelbert's leadership. Engelbert's post-game press conference did little to quell the fire. She dodged questions about the officiating. Fans weren't buying it, accusing her of protecting her agenda over the league's biggest asset. And if you think that's bad, just wait, because the ref's incompetence is just the tip of the iceberg. The officiating in this game was so atrocious, it cemented the WNBA's reputation as a banana league. Fever coach Stephanie White unloaded in her press conference, calling the ref's performance egregious. "I was warning them in the first quarter," she fumed. "They've got to control the game. Everybody's getting better except the officials." Sun coach Rashid Meziane echoed her, slamming the refs for losing control. But here's what they're not telling you. This two-tier refereeing, letting stars like Clark get mauled while protecting lesser players like Mabrey, is a symptom of Engelbert's leadership. She's too busy pandering to progressive ideals to enforce consistent rules. And this is where things go from bad to worse. Because Sophie Cunningham wasn't about to let the refs' failure slide. With 46 seconds left and the Fever up 88-71, Jacy Sheldon stole the ball and sprinted for a layup. That's when Sophie Cunningham, Clark's fierce teammate, decided to dispense justice. In a move that had fans roaring, Cunningham wrapped her arms around Sheldon's neck and yanked her to the ground in a blatant retaliatory foul. Sheldon swung back, and a full-on brawl erupted, spilling into the courtside seats. Cunningham even grabbed Sheldon's hair as security intervened. And here's where everything changes. Cunningham, Sheldon, and Sun guard Lindsay Allen were ejected, but fans crowned Cunningham a hero. Finally, someone's got Caitlin's back. Cunningham's TikTok blew up, gaining 1 million followers overnight. In a viral post, she lip-synced to Selena Gomez's "Can't Keep My Hands to Myself," winking at her hard foul. And the craziest part, the WNBA fined her but didn't suspend her, signaling they weren't ready to tangle with Clark's new enforcer. Sun coach Meziane called Cunningham's foul stupid and disrespectful, but Fever fans disagreed. Fans say Sophie Cunningham is the hero the WNBA needs. Her jersey sold out within days, and she's now a fan favorite. But what happens next will leave you speechless. Because Cunningham's emergence is a direct rebuke to Engelbert's failure to protect Clark. When Clark missed 5 games with a quad strain, the WNBA's viewership cratered, social media buzz flatlined, and games felt unwatchable without her flair. Clark's Caitlinclark effect has brought new fans, but they're starting to notice the league's flaws. Under Engelbert, the WNBA feels less like a sports league and more like a political platform. New fans will ditch the WNBA when all they see is just lesbian communists bumping each other. Engelbert's progressive push, evident in her No Space for Hate campaign, clashes with the physicality she allows against stars like Clark. Las Vegas Aces coach Becky Hammon recently warned about the league's concussion crisis, saying, "Too many shots to the face. If Clark gets seriously injured, the WNBA could collapse." And this part? It changes everything. The wildest rumor: Engelbert allegedly paid Sheldon and Mabrey to target Clark. While unproven, the theory exploded on X, with fans pointing to Engelbert's light punishment as evidence. One user wrote, "Engelbert's protecting her goons. Why no suspensions?" The WNBA's financial struggles, relying on NBA subsidies, add fuel, with critics arguing Engelbert's desperate to maintain her progressive vision, even if it means sabotaging Clark. Reddit threads buzzed with speculation. Engelbert's turning the WNBA into a sideshow to keep her job. Engelbert's leadership has drawn fire before. Her focus on social justice over basketball has alienated some fans, and the league's $2.2 billion media deal hasn't weaned it off NBA support. Engelbert's too political. The WNBA will stay a joke until she's gone. And here's where things go completely off script, because Sophie Cunningham's rise signals a shift the league can't control. You'll want to see this through to the end. Trust me, the WNBA is at a breaking point. Jacy Sheldon and Marina Mabrey's assault on Caitlinclark, allegedly greenlit by Cathy Engelbert, has exposed the league's rot. Inconsistent refs, political agendas, and a failure to protect its biggest star. Fans are demanding lifetime bans, and while that's unlikely, the pressure is mounting. Sophie Cunningham's emergence as Clark's enforcer is a game-changer, proving the Fever won't tolerate cheap shots. Despite the league's recent surges in popularity, it has never turned a profit, bleeding millions annually while leaning heavily on subsidies from the NBA. The arrival of Caitlinclark in 2024 sparked a revenue boom, yet the league's losses have only deepened under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's watch. Engelbert, who took the helm in 2019 after a 33-year career at Deloitte, obviously chose the WNBA as a retirement gig because she has been more of a political activist than a businesswoman. Her business acumen has fallen short, failing to translate the WNBA's growing cultural clout into financial stability. This is where things take a shocking turn. Engelbert's focus on political activism, while admirable, has overshadowed the strategic leadership needed to wean the WNBA off NBA handouts and build a sustainable business. The WNBA's financial woes began with its inception and have persisted through nearly 3 decades. In 2018, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver revealed that the WNBA had lost an average of over $10 million per year since 1996, amounting to cumulative losses of at least $220 million by that point. Revenue during the league's early years was meager, estimated at $60 to $100 million annually by the late 2010s, a fraction of the NBA's $10 billion. Operating costs, including player salaries, averaging $70,000 to $100,000, commercial travel, and arena leases consistently outpaced income. Attendance struggled, with averages of 6,000 to 7,000 fans per game, and the league's 12 teams often played in half-empty arenas. The NBA's ownership of roughly 60% of the WNBA provided a lifeline, but as one team executive told the Washington Post, this league would be hard-pressed to exist without the NBA. Engelbert inherited this fragile model in 2019, fresh from her role as Deloitte's first female CEO, where she managed $20 billion in revenue. Her corporate pedigree raised hopes of an economic turnaround, but her tenure has yet to deliver. And here's where it gets even crazier. Despite her business background, Engelbert's leadership has leaned more on social advocacy than financial discipline, leaving the league's losses unchecked. The 2024 season, propelled by Caitlinclark's arrival, marked a financial paradox. record revenue alongside record losses. Clark, the Indiana Fever's #1 draft pick, drove an estimated $200 million in league revenue, with her games alone accounting for 26.5% of economic activity, roughly $53 million, according to Ryan Brewer, an associate professor at Indiana University Columbus. League-wide attendance jumped from 6,615 fans per game in 2023 to 9,807 in 2024, with the Fever averaging 17,036 fans and a record 340,715 total home attendance. Viewership soared, with Clark's games averaging 1.2 million viewers, 200% higher than non-Clark games, and 21 of 24 broadcasts exceeding 1 million viewers featuring her. Merchandise sales skyrocketed 500%, with Clark's jersey outselling most NBA stars. Yet, the WNBA was projected to lose $40 to $50 million in 2024, a 4- to 5-fold increase from the historical $10 million annual loss. The Washington Post reported a $50 million deficit, while the New York Post cited $40 million. New costs, like the $25 million charter flight program Engelbert introduced, and expanded marketing to leverage Clark's popularity, outstripped revenue gains. Engelbert's failure to control expenses while capitalizing on Clark's star power underscores her business shortcomings. Fans vented frustration, with one user stating, "The WNBA is on track to lose $50 million this year, still has not turned a profit in its 3-decade existence." And you'll never guess how it ends. Engelbert's activist priorities have arguably widened this gap. In 2025, Clark's impact intensified, but losses likely persist. Brewer projected Clark's economic contribution could reach $875 million to $1 billion, driven by an expanded 22-game home schedule and the Fever's $370 million valuation, second only to the New York Liberty. The WNBA's new 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal, set to begin in 2026, will triple media revenue from $60 million to approximately $200 million annually. Attendance and viewership continued to break records, with the Fever's 2025 season opener setting highs. However, ongoing investments, charter flights, expansion to 13 teams, including the Golden State Valkyries, and marketing suggest continued deficits. When Clark missed 6 games in 2025 due to a quad strain, ratings dropped 55%, from 1.8 million to 850,000 viewers, exposing the league's dependency on her. Engelbert's inability to diversify revenue streams beyond Clark highlights her business limitations. Her activist efforts, like supporting player mental health and condemning online harassment, albeit belatedly, resonate more than her financial strategy. And here's the part that nobody saw coming. Her political activism, while impactful, has alienated some fans and owners, complicating the league's path to profitability. The WNBA's dependence on the NBA, which controls 42.1% of the league alongside the 12-team owners, limits Engelbert's autonomy, but her failure to push for independent financing underscores her business weakness. The 2020 CBA, negotiated before her tenure but upheld under her watch, allocates only 9% of revenue to players compared to the NBA's 50%, fueling player unrest and the WNBPA's 2024 opt-out. Engelbert's "go big or go home" strategy, as she told The Athletic, prioritized growth over cost control, ballooning losses in 2024. Her Deloitte experience didn't translate to the WNBA's unique challenges, where cultural cachet outpaces financial viability. And this is where things go completely off the rails. Her activist-driven leadership risks squandering the Caitlinclark effect. The WNBA's structural issues, NBA dependency, high costs, and low player revenue splits precede Engelbert, but her tenure has amplified them. The league's $200 million 2024 revenue was a milestone, yet it paled against the NBA's $10 billion, and losses soared. Engelbert's focus on activism, while strengthening the WNBA's brand as inclusive, has not addressed these fundamentals. Her mishandling of fan racism allegations and scheduling complaints, like Sato Sabali's critique of the 44-game slate, further erodes her business credibility. The WNBA's future hinges on the $2.2 billion media deal and expansion fees. But without expense management, losses will persist. And by the end of this, you'll understand why this is so important. Engelbert's legacy as a political activist outshines her business record, but the WNBA needs a commissioner who can balance both to survive. Her activism has made the league a cultural force, but her business missteps keep it a financial sinkhole, even in the Caitlinclark era. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. Stay tuned.